Choose your. Okay, got it. Um, so we do that because we just want to make sure that everyone has a place they can come and recharge, to get course correction, to share wins. A part of our journey and our process is stacking wins. Now, playing the long game is where it's at. Like you really want to have that mentality and that mindset as you're moving through this journey and building your base, your business, acquiring customers, making it very intentional to have a positive impact on every life that you touch and every life that you encounter. And there have been some things that have been taking place that have really irritated me, from a cultural landscape, and it's insidious. It is flat out evil. What's been taking place in big mega billion dollar conglomerate entities. Now, many of you actually have referenced this week, the story that broke out about Campbell's soup and the ingredients, and you hear the actual corporate executives saying they wouldn't feed it to their dogs, basically. And so we talk about this every week. We talk about the fact that part of our mission is to really inform and empower people so that they can make better choices. A lot of people, they just don't know what they don't know. And that's the human condition. A lot of people were looking at Nadia and myself as somewhat examples of better health and well-being, when in fact we had products in our own homes that were toxic, heavily laden with chemicals that were doing harm to our environment. And we didn't know what we didn't know. We just hadn't really thought about it, because bandwidth is a part of the equation. And if you've grown up under the programming and the bias of what you see on the electronic income reducer, the idiot box, and you're told to shop and get Clorox and Tide and Listerine and all of that, and it becomes normalized. And when you go to the doctor or the dentist and they're not telling you any of these things because they don't know either, everybody's just the blind leading the blind. This is why the mega billion dollar conglomerates are having the success that they're having, because they're preying upon people's ignorance and the fact that people are just, surviving. So it's all connected, right? Meaning, if I'm living on the average annual income of 57 to $62,000 a year, and I'm taking care of 2 to 4 kids, and I have to work a job and a half, or 2 jobs, or maybe even 3, I'm literally just living to survive. I'm existing. I'm running around from paycheck to paycheck, from kid to kid, and I'm not really taking the time to be still and take in the damage that's being done, the damage that's being thrust upon me. Because from a big mega billion dollar conglomerate standpoint, it's cheaper to provide low quality products that are harmful and expand my margin so I can make more money, than it is to properly inform you and give you a higher quality product experience. So part of what we're doing, it's very mission driven. It's definitely a movement, when you know and I know that my objective is for you to get the crap out of your home and to replace it with clean, organic, non-toxic, higher quality products that are not only better, but they're better for you. And even more compelling is that the price points are competitive, if not better. We do a breakdown from just Target and Whole Foods to our price points, and our products have better quality ingredients and they're less expensive. So when you have that come from, and you're coming into the market and you're letting people know, I'm not asking you to spend more money. I'm just asking you to make better choices for your health and longevity. It's a no-brainer proposition. It's a no-brainer conversation. And when I tell you it's all connected, you see, the dumber we are, the sicker we are, the more profitable they are. Big business is in health and food. So, do you understand that health and food are connected? They are intertwined financially because food understands that the lower quality, higher saturated fats, the forever chemicals that they put in a lot of the ingredients, these things that are breaking down our cells and that are keeping us sick, they're in cahoots with health because that's where the big pharma comes into play, giving us all of these pills that we can pop that will mask the symptoms that come from poor eating and keep us perpetually consuming what? Consuming pills to pop, consuming trash to put in our bodies and in our homes. So that is huge business. It's just better to keep people sick and dumb. So when we come into the equation, we're not only informing the people that we care about, the people that we're encountering, the people that we have some level of connection to. Could be a family member, a friend, somebody on social media, a work colleague, a neighbor, somebody that we just met. We're not only giving them better information, we're putting them in a much better position. You see, when you look at toxicity, when you look at the GMOs, okay, when you look at the pesticides, there's virtually no regulation in these United States. You all get this, right? So when you and I grab a tomato and we take a bite out of it here in the States, and then we go to Italy, take a bite out of a tomato, it's a totally different tomato. It's a totally different experience. Why? Because they actually have guideposts and regulations in other countries that we don't have here. Have you ever asked yourself the question, why is it when I go up and down the aisles in the grocery store and I pick up a box of cereal or I pick up a loaf of bread or I pick up some pasta and I look at the ingredients, there are things that are allowed in the ingredients in the United States that are not allowed in virtually every other country and modernized society in the world? Only here. Why? Because it's cheaper to put harmful toxic chemicals in the foods that you and I consume every day and increase the price margin because you can produce these mass production quantity, large quantities, lesser money that you put into it, and you increase the margins of profitability because it's profit over people. And what you and I are proposing and what we're living in terms of our example is no, 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 no. We are people over profit because we're providing you with a clean, organic, non toxic experience in what you're consuming and the products that you're utilizing in your home. Makes a big difference when you can clean your tub and not have to have on two masks and rubber gloves and a hazmat suit because you're concerned about the toxics and the chemicals. It makes a big difference. And we use these things every day. See, the things that when we put our clothes in the laundry, the detergent is now connecting with your skin. And again, Nadia and I, we're not thinking about these things because of bandwidth, because when you're dealing with life, because life be lifing, when life be lifing, you ain't got time to be thinking about all that stuff. You're just trying to survive. You're not really paying attention to the fact that you're getting taken advantage of, that you're being harmed, and that you're subjecting yourselves to all these harmful chemicals and toxins and stressors. So when you look at the environment as a whole, okay, there is soil depletion, there is toxicity, there is pollution, there is GMO, there is pesticides. There are all these things that we are automatically having to contend with no matter what. We have no control over that. So if we are more proactive in taking care of our environment and being more mindful of what we put into our environment and what we put into our bodies, we just give ourselves a much better opportunity for higher quality of life. The direct correlations between diet, exercise, and plasticities, okay, that's another topic, but plastics is a big problem. The direct correlation between those three things and dementia, early onset Alzheimer's, and just genetic problems with altering your DNA and your cells, it's huge. So we have to be just better. And that is the dynamic of what we do here. That's why we come together every Saturday morning, 10 a.m., because you want to have a point of reference in your week. You want to have a point of routine. Because guess what? We're only here for like maybe a little less than an hour a week. There's 168 hours in a given week. So that means 167 hours. I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know if you're working on yourself. I don't know if you're doing personal development. I don't know if you're taking the time to be very selective about the things that you're purchasing and bringing into your home. That's why we give people the opportunity to say, hey, here's a source. It's a one-stop shop. You can just come over here and get really good high quality products and have a great experience. And as a matter of fact, we're going to back it up with a 90-day empty bottle money back guarantee. As a matter of fact, we're going to make sure that you have a world-class customer service experience unlike anything you've ever experienced. As a matter of fact, we're going to give you access to communities where there is a cultural movement of personal development and constant never-ending improvement. And you can get around people that are shooting for something more. People rub off on you. And what happens in the job place is that a lot of people, they get into a rhythm. And that rhythm is almost a resignation, meaning here's what I'm earning. So I have a friend in Las Vegas, very, very good at what she does. She is an educator. She is a principal. She loves her students, and her students love her. She loves her job, but her job does not love her. In 10 years, she did not get one pay raise. Not one. She comes early. She stays late. A lot of our meetings were at her school because she was working late. And in 10 years, she didn't get one pay raise. Now, unfortunately, that is not unique to her situation. There are thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people who are working in a situation where they're overworked and underpaid, where they're undervalued. If you ask them, are you earning honestly what you feel that you're worth? They will tell you no. They will laugh at you when you ask them that question. And then you say, well, why are you still there? Well, what am I supposed to do, Ed? I got to pay my bills. Ladies and gentlemen, if all you're aspiring to is paying your bills, then that is all you're going to do, and that is how you will die. I'm letting you know that that is part of the game that is being played. The system is in place to game you. It is to lull you into your comfort zone so that you get into a rhythm of a paycheck every 2 weeks, and then you build your life around the amount of the paycheck. We call it being a paycheck player. And when you're a paycheck player, someone else assigns you your worth, assigns you your value. They dictate that. That's why you have to beg them for a raise. That's why you have to fight for those promotions. Now, I'm not saying you're not supposed to put in the work and justly earn those promotions, but I am saying that you and I know there are far way more many people who are putting in the work and they're doing it at a high level and they're not being properly compensated. That is a problem. So now you're in a comfort zone, and now you look for ways to escape that reality. That's why they have happy hour. That's why they have thank God it's Friday. That's why they have weekends, because they want you to create a paradigm in your life where you just look forward to that day off. So you can escape the reality that you're overworked and underpaid. You can escape the reality that you're never, ever going to earn what you're worth. So you can escape the reality that you're surrounded by the same type of thinking. You're surrounded by the same type of mindset that is resigned, that this is pretty much what I'm worth. And hey, if I get a raise, great. If I don't, hey, at least I love my job. At least I'm good at what I do. At least I feel some sense of worth, because people need to feel value. They need to feel needed. That's why they work these jobs and they know they're overworked and underpaid. They like the predictability of it, even though it's never going to get them what they want. So part of what we're doing is we're interrupting that conversation. We have to get you out of your comfort zone into your uncomfortable growth zone. That only comes from those crucial conversations, first and foremost with yourself. And then you and I are having those conversations with other people as we're moving throughout our days on our journeys. So I'll give you a great example. I was in Chicago last week and I'm having these conversations. And my sister-in-law sees me and I'm, taking my daily supplements, and like they're in these really cool packs and they're easy, they're very travel friendly. She sees me drinking, these little, sustains. It's like what do you call it? Electrolytes. So she knows that I don't speak anything that I'm not living. And she can look and see that I must be doing something right because my energy's always up. And I obviously have a great attitude, but there are connections to all of this. And so just from that living example, she said, "Hey, I want some of that too. Like I want some of that." And I'm looking at around the house. I'm like, "Yo, why do y'all have this in your house? Why is that on your shelf? Y'all don't need this in here. Like this is crazy." And she knows I'm not lying. And so boom, she wakes up, starts, I got to get that. So she starts getting all her stuff too. It's just a simple conversation, right? If you genuinely care about our planet, if you care about other people, if you care about the longevity of obviously not just us, but our kids and those that are coming after them, what we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, that there's a platform. My brother and I were talking about this, and I love his platform, and it's very similar, right? So number one, we have to be the example. We have to be the message that we bring. Number two, we need to make sure that we're serving the least of us. What are we doing for the least of us? There are so many people that they don't have access to the information. They're not a part of a circle like this. They don't know what they don't know. They don't have those relationships. They're surrounded by a lot of other pigeons. So there are pigeons and there are eagles. Eagles are leveling up. Eagles are looking for constant, never-ending improvement. Pigeons are stuck on stupid. Pigeons have a fixed mindset. Eagles have a growth mindset. So if you're surrounded by pigeons, you're not going to grow. And you don't know what you don't know. And what's worse is you think you know. You don't know that you don't know, but you think you know. And so it takes care. It takes love. It takes respect to be able to have a confrontational conversation with someone and say, "Hey, listen, have you thought about maybe not having those things on your shelf? Have you thought about making a better decision about what you're putting into your body?" Now, I do it in a way where I'm always smiling and joking and laughing. Like I really work to disarm people quickly right off the bat because I don't want people to get defensive. I just want them to look at how they're moving. So if I see somebody and, like I was in a meeting a couple weeks ago and my man had his bag of McDonald's. And I was like, that's not food, right? Like, you do know that. Like, there's nothing there that is for human consumption. Like, you do understand. What are you talking about? Well, bruh, like, do you know what's in that? Like, what you're eating? He's like, no. And so I just started to have the conversation. I started to open him up a little bit. And then I encouraged him to just go watch Super Size Me. Very simple, right? Like, hey, check out Super Size Me. Go watch the doc. You don't need to hear it from me. Go watch what actually happens to the human body when you eat stuff like that for 30 days in a row. So part of what we're doing is we're disarming, we're empowering, we're informing, and we're putting everyone that we encounter in a better position to have success and longevity for their life and well-being. Now that's connected because obviously we get paid for our customer acquisition. That's very important. And what I look for is, can I actually earn what I'm worth? See, as an actor, I don't have any say over what I'm going to earn. I can only focus on being the best actor that I can be. So there were times when I'm doing plays for $800 a week, and then there are times when I'm making $2,500 a week. I didn't have no control over it. It just depended on if I was on Broadway or off Broadway. There were times when I'm doing a film or a TV show and it's a hit television show. I make way more money doing that. I ain't got no control over it. Like I audition and some jobs I get, some jobs I don't. I can't predict if I'm going to be in Spike Lee's most successful grossing film ever. I didn't plan that. It just happened. So that's beyond my control, okay? What I appreciate about what we do is that everything that we do is within our control. What I love about the opportunity to be a blessing to other people is the more people that I bless, the more income I make. Very, very simple. The more win-win scenarios I create, the more money I make. And see, most people don't have that option on their jobs. Like most people can't double or triple or quadruple their income on their job in a 3-year span. Like if you're making, let's say, $75,000 a year, you're not going to make $150,000 in the next 3 years. You're not. You're not going to make $300,000 in the next 3 years. Whereas with what we do, you can actually work your way to $300,000 a year in 3 years. You could do it from scratch, like from zero, on top of what you're earning on your, so-called 9 to 5. That's number one. Number two, most jobs, let me rephrase that. I've never heard of a job. Now, there might be a job out there. I've never heard of it. Give you really cool free stuff every month for just doing your job. For just doing your job. Us simply blessing people. We've gotten really nice luggage set. We've gotten really nice gym bags. We've gotten some cool collagen. We've gotten, I got a list of stuff. It's insane. We earned a trip, a 5-day, 4-night stay at a 5-star resort, all inclusive, and they actually bought the entire resort. Like not just a section of rooms, like people block rooms for conventions. No. They bought the entire resort. And we earned that just by doing our job. I don't know of any jobs that do that. I don't know of any jobs that provide you a car bonus every month. $500 to $1,500 is as much. You max out at $1,500. Listen, you can drive a really nice car for $500 a month. You can. $1,000 a month, $1,500. Now you're talking about luxury. $1,500 a month. Now you balling. But that's on top of what you're generating income wise for being a blessing to other people, for fighting against this machinery of corporate greed and getting people in these horrible. Listen, there's about 50,000 current or pending litigation, lawsuits, etc. right now because of the harm that's been caused by these products and these chemicals in them. And what big conglomerate billion-dollar corporations have figured out a long time ago, it's cheaper to settle than it is to do things and do good business the right way. It's cheaper to perpetuate this toxicity than it is to put human beings first. Why do you all think when you go into most retail stores, when you walk in, you will see Coca-Cola prominently placed? Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's toilet bowl cleaner. Like seriously, put it in your toilet and let it sit there for 30 minutes and watch what happens. And yet it's prominently placed for human consumption. It has no nutritional value whatsoever. It is directly correlated to obesity, your blood sugar, spiking. There's no nutritional value, no health benefits whatsoever. It's the exact opposite. And yet it's prominently placed and prominently promoted. Why? Because it's big business. Because health and big pharma knows the more you consume Coke, the more likely you are to have to start popping pills. And now everybody's getting paid. And maybe your lifespan, maybe you'll be dead by 50. You'll be dead by 55. You'll be dead by 60. I I've seen people drop dead in their 40s because of what they're putting in their bodies. So they don't care because as soon as you go on, there's another person to take your place. So understand that what we're doing is so much bigger than just doing good business. It's bigger than just giving people the opportunity to have clean, organic, non-toxic products and consumables. It's bigger than the world-class customer service. It's bigger than this unlimited income capacity that we can generate. And when I say unlimited income, that's not a hypey statement. Let me clarify. If 6 figures a month is not enough for you, then yes, we have a limited income vehicle. But if six or multiple 6 figures a month is something you can live off of, then you're in the right place. Okay. For simply doing the right thing and doing things the right way. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of the long game. Because when you play the long game, you're talking about how do I position myself so that I can be more impactful to my family, more impactful to my community, more impactful to my city, and then hopefully maybe the state, maybe the country. I don't know what your aspirations are, but you want to be an embodiment. You want to be an example. You want to be able to make sure that your children have options, that your children can focus on what's important. See, for us, it's important that our children, when they go out into the world, they're not going to be focusing on their house and their car. That's going to be taken care of. They're going to be focusing on getting better in their career track. They're going to be focusing on being the best version of that they can be as professionals, whatever they decide to do. And that's, playing the long-term game, giving up now to get up later. And so understanding that we have to be strategic and long-term in our thinking and making sure that we have conversations every day about what it is that we do and why we do it, and identifying people who are looking. I'm looking for people who are looking to grow, people who are looking to be better in their health and well-being, people who are looking to be better in their financial stewardship so that they can do the things that are important to them. I was reading about the owner of the Orlando Magic and the Orlando the arena that they play in, the Orlando Magic's arena, and they were talking about how, now listen, this is how you play the long game. So number one, they were a primary force in getting the recent president elected. They were a primary force because they had the resources. They were a primary. They're the woman that married into this family. Okay, it's called the DeVos family. She's head of education. She don't know nothing about no education, but she had education. Why? Because she's connected. She's connected to a family that's been playing the long game. They have think tanks where they create leadership centers, and they will put 25, 30 million into building a leadership center so that they can continue to perpetuate their philosophy. Okay. But that's all because they started playing the long game. Why am I telling you this? Because that particular family made their money having conversations and selling products. That's how they made their money. They're a billionaire family, but they got there through having conversations and selling products. That's how they got there. Not a job, not a job. They got there by having conversations, selling products, and teaching others to do the same. So are we similar and different? Yeah. We're similar in that our what we do is we have conversations to empower and properly inform and make sure that people are not spending their money in big box stores, right? And you all know that, I mean, I could give you a list of all the big box stores that sell crap. There's a boycott, by the way, happening until the 1st of December right now against Target. That's a great example. So you having the awareness, you bringing a higher level of conversation to someone else is a blessing. How they receive it, that's not your business. That's up to them. My job is to make sure you have the information. What you do with it is on you. But shame on me if I don't at least take the time to inform you or to invite you to get informed. So then you can make up your own mind. So when I'm talking to people, if I'm on social media, if I'm on a phone call, I just say, hey, listen, hear me out. Like, are you open to a conversation? Like, I don't know if you're into clean, organic, and non toxic. You may not be. Are you? And 99% of the time, they're like, yeah, of course. Okay, great. Well, let's talk about what your options are, and then you can tell me how you want to move forward after that. That's literally the extent of my conversation. I don't get into business. I don't get into money because I don't know if that's a priority. Money's not a priority for everybody, right? So I respect people for where they're at, but genuinely, I want to see them healthier. I want to see them happier. I want to see them, long. I want you to be around a long time for your kids and your family. That's my outcome. So when we play the long game, we start to really understand the power of a day. The power of a day is how we can compound what we do today and how that spills into tomorrow. And over time, those days and those wins will stack up. I promise you, they will stack up. And if you could just muster up the courage to have conversations, you can change your life. Your life can look totally different 12 months from now. You can be living a transformative experience 36 months from now. You could have access to resources and be a blessing to others in ways that you never imagined in 36 months if you understand the power of today. And you want to have a sense of urgency because now is all we have. Yesterday is gone. That's why they call it the past. Stop looking at it. And there ain't nothing there for you. You can learn a lesson from it, but so many people allow their past to be their torture and not their teacher. Let it be your teacher. Have the present as a building block to your future. That's why it's so important for you to have a clear, concise mental picture of where you want to go, who you want to be, what is it that you want to produce and create. Because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. If you allow who you are and where you are now to dictate your future, then you're just stuck in your past because all you're going to do is you're going to keep reliving who you are now in your future, which means you have no future, which means you're a victim of your past and you become stuck. How many of y'all know people who are stuck? They say stuff like same-ish, different day, Ed. You look at them and they haven't moved at all. They've made no progress. They look the same. They talk the same. They live the same. They got the same income, the same aspirations, same, right? They talk about those people that are still, stay away from still people, still thinking stupid, still limited in their thinking, still poverty consciousness, still stuck on, like, get away from still people. Find people that want to go somewhere. Your past doesn't equal your future. And when your future is far more compelling than your current circumstance, then you're perpetually moving forward toward that target. Success is a moving target. As soon as you hit some success, your job is to find new success. As soon as you get a win, your job is to stack it with another win. And a win is very simple. A win is you picking up the phone and making a call when you were terrified to do so. That's called a win, ladies and gentlemen. A win is having a conversation and giving someone an opportunity to see the information that you want to share. That's a win, y'all. A win is having a conversation and having somebody tell you they're not interested. That's a win because you've identified who doesn't qualify. So a lot of what we're doing is we're just sifting and sorting, and we're wanting to find the right people who want to come on this journey with us. And most of our people, they're very happy to live the lifestyle, to have the great quality products and consumables, and they're going to be shopping like that for the rest of their lives. And that is a win because we get paid every time they shop. There are others who want to share the good news. They don't want to just keep it to themselves. They want to bless as many people as they can in their respective communities. And we get to do that together. And that's when it's a lot of fun because from now we're building and expanding our community. But let me share this with you. Regardless of what your aspirations are, life is gonna be lifing. Life doesn't care about your big goals and your big lofty dreams. Life doesn't care if you've been turned over a new leaf, and it's a new day. I'm ready to step up. This time I'm in it to win it. And as soon as life gets a whisper of you getting excited about a new and compelling future, life is like, man, we gonna mess them up. Let's go. Like life is gonna come attacking at you at all sides, trying to take you out. I promise you. And as long as you understand that, you don't take it personally. Say it's part of the journey. That's life. If it were easy, everybody would do it. If it were easy, everybody would be successful. Why? Why is the majority of people that live in the greatest country in the world, where there's the land of opportunity, right? People fight and die and sweat to get here. And yet and still, the majority of people that live here, they're missing it. They're selling themselves short. Why? Because they don't believe in themselves. They don't take the time to cultivate their belief, to work on themselves. They don't read and develop their minds. They're not doing personal development. They're not working out. They're not exercising. Here's the good news. This community is all about that. So you will always have the opportunity to rub up against people who take their fitness seriously, who take their health and their well-being seriously, who take their money seriously. And we are all working diligently, day in and day out, to be better, to get better, so that we can be a blessing, because it is a blessing to be a blessing. And that is the beauty when you get your wins and you start having success and you start seeing gains, because you get to be more of who you are. And I know you. I know you want to be a better giver. I know you want to be a better provider. I know you want to live independently, financial independence, so that I can make choices and do things that are not based on time or money. I can just focus on, how can I be a better giver today? How can I serve better today? When you have more income coming in every month than you could possibly spend, that gives you peace of mind. It allows you to be more effective and more impactful. That's what we call playing the long game. Well, Ed, I've never made more money in a month than I could possibly spend. So everybody's got to start somewhere. We all start at the same place. I'm discounting the people that were born with a silver spoon and their mamas and their daddies gave them millions of dollars. I ain't talking about them. But for most of us, we had to start from nothing. Your past doesn't equal your future. You use the present to paint your vision, a clear, concise middle picture of where you're going, because that picture is far more compelling than your current circumstances, because your current circumstances are not your conclusion. And as long as you understand and embrace that with the activities that you do every day, as long as you lean in when life starts lifing, because life going life, toughen up, ladies and gents. You are made of much finer stuff. Life can be a polishing stone or a grinding stone, depending upon the substance of which you are made. And I submit to you, because you were made by a most awesome and wonderful God, that's my belief, then you are made of such stuff that you can endure and that you can persist. And when you understand that resistance is the multiplier, you lean into that. You grow into that. You become mentally stronger. You become mentally tougher. You become more resilient. And that is how you get to the real significant wins. Life doesn't get any easier. It's just that we get better. We get stronger. And when we have to deal with the inevitable challenges of life and the ebbs and flows, it's just a lot simpler. It's a lot simpler to navigate when you've gotten the money part out of the way. There are millions and millions of millionaires in the United States. There are people who are not brighter than you, who make $1 million a month. There are people who are not more talented than you, and they make $1 million a month. There are people who don't have some of your intangibles, who are not as generous and giving as you, and they make $1 million a month. There's millions and millions of millionaires in the United States. So it's not unique. There's nothing special about you that you can't achieve it. You just have to put in the work, and you got to be consistent. It's every day. Every day is a building block toward that greater future. So take some time as we're coming in for a landing for 2025. We have 1 month remaining. Make sure that you finish 2025 strong, and make sure that you start seeding and being strategic about how you want to create in your 2026. And I challenge you to be a little greedy. It's okay. Be a little bit greedy. Hey, you know what, Ed? I thought I wanted to make 10,000 a month. I'm gonna focus on 20,000 a month. I'm gonna double it. I'm gonna hold myself to a higher standard. I have no idea how I'm gonna do it. It makes me nervous just saying it out loud, Ed. But I gotta stretch because there's so many other people who are winning. That means me too. If they can do it, me too. I was telling Yasmin when Nadia and I were in Salt Lake City, Utah. It really struck me because when you encounter another human being who breathes the same oxygen as you, and they tell you that their bonus for that month was $458,000, it changes your paradigm of what's available. Because as a Cleveland City public school teacher, I wasn't making more than 32, 34,000 a year, something like that. Like, think about that. And I'm having a conversation with someone who's making more than 15 times that in a month. So much of this is about our thinking and our mindset. Who are we surrounding ourselves with? Who are we listening to? What are we aspiring to? And there are levels to this. There are levels to this thing called life. And remember, I cannot stress this enough. People rub off on you. And if you're spending the majority of your time around people who are comfortable, who have low self-worth, low self-esteem, and low self-image, they're going to rub off on you. You know, if you told somebody how much you make a year, they would jump out of a freaking window if they made that in a week. They would. And it's not about, oh, you're not a valuable member of society if you only make whatever 70 or 80 or 90,000 a year. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the system is gaming you to believe that that's all you can do. And that to me is wrong. I just don't believe that. I believe that if everyone here and everybody that's watching this recording, this playback, I believe that there's so much goodness in the world. There's so many really good people that just haven't figured these things out, haven't had this type of conversation, that when they are exposed to it and they can start thinking differently and understanding there are other vehicles and other ways to create revenue, if they take a hold of it, then the world will be better for it. Because I would much rather see everyone here shatter their financial goals, because I know the world will be better, because I know your hearts. I know that you're giving people. I know that you're wonderful parents. I know that you're great spouses. I know that you're here to make a positive impact on the planet. You can just do more of it when you have more resources. So play the long game. That's the assignment. That is the task. That is the challenge. And use every single day as a building block by the actions that you take towards your future. You cannot miss a day. You cannot take a day off. It takes 30 seconds to send a DM and say, hey, Monica, haven't talked to you in a while. Would love to hop on a quick call with you. It takes 30 seconds. If you did that 10 times a day, that's 70 invitations a week for a conversation. Every day weighs more the more days that pass. So, any other shares, anything from the week? I want to open it up really quickly before we close it out. Anyone have anything they want to share or add? Going
Yeah,
once. Yes.
let me try my camera. I just wanted to say that I'm grateful for our circle here. Speaking of people that you surround yourself with.
Mm.
And I also love that, we're talking about expanding our consciousness around the things that we're putting on our bodies, in our bodies, in our homes, and having those conversations with people. Because, I look back at this week and I feel like, oh, wow, I didn't really do nearly what I had intended to do this week. And I allowed myself to be a little bit distracted with the holidays and everything. But I realized when I look back, I did have a lot of conversations this week just in the motion of taking my vitamins, like you're talking about, in front of someone, or hearing someone else talk about low energy. And I'm like, oh, well, are you taking vitamins? Oh, no, I don't take vitamins. I'm like, well, you should take some vitamins, and I can give you a link to take some good vitamins. So that having those, I did have a lot of those types of conversations, which I need to follow up on this weekend.